Hello, good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you're all well this morning and ready for a little bit of movement. This morning we're going to do a little bit of movement for the hips because I do think it is very common for us to kind of get tight in the hips from a lot of sitting and this flexion in the hip joint. So we need to kind of externally rotate the hip, take it into extension just to keep it nice and mobile and healthy. So we're going to begin in a wide knee child's pose today. If this is not comfortable in your knees and you get any sharp pain around the knees, one thing you can do is just take a nice pillow or a cushion and just pad under the hips there, so it just raises the hips up a little bit. And then you can take the knees wide and come into your extended child's pose. You could also just lift up the hips a little bit and not sit back as deep, which is a little bit more of a puppy stretch. You're going to get a stretch in the shoulders here as well. Or you could take the fists and pad under the head and create a little pillow. Or of course you could take pillows or cushions or even a yoga block just to lift up the floor. So there's lots of variations to choose from. I'm going to choose this extended child's pose with my arms outstretched. And we're just going to take 3 to 5 deep breaths here, resting your head down. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Begin to melt the back, melt the shoulders, and relax the hips. 2, 3, 4, and on the 5, just begin to walk your hands back. Bring the knees back in just so that they're in line with the hip joints. And start to just warm up the spine here. Inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the head and tailbone, and exhaling, rounding your back, pushing the floor away into this cat-cow. Synchronizing movement with breath. Nice even weight distribution in the hands and a very, very soft bend in the elbows just so you're not locking out the joints there. Rolling through your spine, opening the chest, breathing in and pulling your belly button to your spine on that breath out. Good. Take your knees wider again. And just begin to take some circles, really feeling that in your hips. So nice and slow, moving into this hip joint area. Notice how your hips feel. So a lot of this is about awareness. We want really to develop an awareness of our whole being, our physical body, how our breath is, how our energy is and our mood in any given moment. Reverse the circles when you're ready. How our mind space is, what thoughts are running through the mind. Really getting to know yourself as a whole. Great. And then when you're ready, bring your knees back again under your hips. And we're going to just slide the right toes back now. Slide them back. Press through the heel. Rock through that heel. So you're stretching into the back of the leg and your ankle and your toes. So really feeling into the back of your leg. And then bring that right foot off the ground. So we're in a bit of a balance here. Pull the tummy in a little bit so that the back is not just completely collapsed. You can feel the muscles around the shoulders working here. Bring the knee into the chest, round the back and look towards your knee. And then as you inhale, bend that knee, point your foot up to the ceiling. So you've got a little bit of an extension in that hip joint. Just point the foot, press it up towards the ceiling and just look forwards and up slightly. So exhaling, it's like a cat-cow, round in the back. This is tiger balance. Inhaling, point the toe, gentle lift up towards the ceiling. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, point, and a gentle lift, just about an inch or two, so a little lift. Good. Place that knee down. Just come to sit on the heels, or if that's not comfortable, take a seat off your heels, just to give your wrists a little bit of a breakout from that weight bearing exercise. Give them a nice little shake. So as I've said before, this weight bearing exercise is excellent for everybody, but especially for women over kind of 35, 40, so that you're helping to build that bone density, so you're not going to suffer from osteoporosis and things like that, which we can do as our hormones change and we lose that bone density naturally. It really does start to drop away. So this weight bearing exercise that we're doing here is excellent for our bones. So let's take it to the other side. Sliding the left toes back and just press through the heel. Feel that lovely stretch, back of the heel, Achilles tendon, hamstring. Take that little rock forwards and back. You are also warming up your wrist joints here and building strength. So don't worry if you find it very difficult to begin with in the wrist. Just do what you can and build up. Here we go. We're going to lift that left foot off the ground. Exhale, draw your knee to your chest. Push the floor away around your back. Trying to squeeze your knee to your nose. And then inhale, begin to bend at that left knee and lift the foot up towards the ceiling. So you're not opening your hip yet, keeping the knee pointing down, the hip crease pointing down, but just lifting the toe. Okay, we've got two more. Exhale, squeeze, inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze everything in, squeeze, 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 inhale, lift. Good, don't give up. And then when you're ready, place that knee back down, sit back onto the heels, or as you did before, and shake off and give them a little circle. Circle in the wrists, a few times one way and a few times the other way. Excellent. Now, coming back onto the hands and knees, but lifting up into your downward dog. So lift the knees off the ground and lift up into your inverted V shape. If this is too much for you and you're working on strength, you've just done quite a lot there on the hands. If this is too much for you to do the downward dog in that weight bearing way, then you could always come into a kind of half dog where you take your hands onto a chair or a table, keep your knees soft and just lift your tailbone away and bring your ears kind of in line, so a half dog, bringing your ears in line with your biceps onto a support. So try that one, and that's really good as well for opening your chest area, heart area, and for helping your breath. Good. Slowly walking your feet in towards the centre of your mat, the hands in towards the feet with really bent knees. Come into one of these lovely spinal rolls, so just start to tuck your tailbone under. Keep your knees really bent and roll up. So you're tucking your tailbone under and you're rolling up nice and slowly, rolling the shoulders back and down. When you get to your standing position, your lovely mountain pose. How are we doing? Good, good. So coming to take this position, I'll just turn this way for you. And then we're going to do a little bit of balancing with this hip opener. So with a soft standing leg, try to just lift your right leg. Notice here, just on this lift, if you're starting to really wobble and your balance is all over the place, then don't worry. Take yourself over to a wall or a chair or a door and just place one hand on the door just for support until you build that strength. It's all about building strength in this standing leg, in the ankle and the leg muscles, the ligaments, but it's also about strengthening your core and improving your balance in your centre of gravity. So it will take practice. So once we've got our position here, we're just going to take some external rotations with this right leg. So up, out and round. Keep that standing leg soft. You're using your core to do this, using your tummy muscles. Out and round, out and round. And let's go the other way. So reverse your circles. We've got 3 this way. You can feel that standing leg working. And on the 3rd one, we're going to just bring the foot onto the calf or onto the thigh. So it could be low down, toes can even be on the ground. Just work on opening that hip joint. Draw your head up to the ceiling. So feel a big lift, moving the ribs away from the hips. Or your foot can be up on the thigh. Try to just avoid placing it on your knee joint. With your hands, you can choose a mudra, thumb and first finger, chin mudra. Your arms could be raised, energetically lifting, or palms can be together in Namaste. Breathe into the belly. Exhale. 2 more. And 2. Good. Slowly release and shake out that standing leg. You may feel the ankle has worked quite hard there, so really make it floppy. We've talked about this before, the synovial fluid as well. As we're getting a bit older, we need to help to keep the joints nice and lubricated, especially in this winter weather as well. So let's do the other side. Now we're softening that standing right leg and we're lifting our left. Lift, externally rotate, take it round. So 2 more. That's 1 and 2. And then we're going to reverse those circles. 1. Again, holding on to something if you need to. 2. Feeling your tummy working here. 3. Good. Keep going. Externally rotate the knee. Place the foot onto the floor, the calf. Avoid the knee or onto the thigh. Choose your hand position. It may be different to last time. Another one would be to interlace the hands behind the tailbone and take a nice chest opener here. Maybe wobble. And something to focus on is another tip. So I was looking at the camera. If you find something like a point to focus on, breathe into the belly. And also this is my weaker side. So you may have one side that is stronger and more balanced than the other. Lift up through the crown of the head, pull the shoulders back and down. Great. And then when you're ready, slowly release and shake out this leg. So try and make your foot floppy. So not like this, just make it floppy. And shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Release good vibes for a Monday. Great. Well done. Come back to the top of your mat when you're ready. We'll make our way down for a couple of seated postures. Inhale, take the arms out and up. Exhale to bend the knees and fold forwards. Inhaling, lengthen your spine, bring your hands onto your shins or your thighs. Create this flat back position, not a rounded back. Exhale, bring the hands down, slide the right toes back. And come down onto that knee. Release the back toes. Take a low lunge. So we're opening this hip. So from always being contracted, we're into extension here. Make sure you bring your hips forwards and down. Make sure you pad the knee if it is uncomfortable for you to kneel on the floor. Folded blanket or a towel. Breathe. Lovely. Take the other side. Step that leg back and switch. Coming into your low lunge on this side. Sink your hips forwards and down. Bring your arms up if you want to, so crescent lunge. Or again, if you're working on shoulder flexibility and mobility, you could interlace the hands and draw them down away from the tailbone and gently look up. So there's always lots of different ways we can play in these poses. Great, and then step it back and come to take a seat. Wonderful. So now we're going to do butterfly pose. So taking the soles of the feet together, bring them in slightly, not too close. So you've got a diamond shape here. Sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in. And on a breath out, hinge from your hips. Just lean forwards. Try to keep your back length for as long as you can. So rather than just rounding your shoulders here, pull them back. Imagine you've got this rod from the crown of your head right down to your tailbone. It's called your danda, your staff. And you want to take that with you as you hinge forwards. And then once you've got your maximum fold, you can feel it in your hips, then you can just relax your back and your neck. So butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. The beauty of this pose is you can kind of take your thumbs into the arches of your feet and even give your feet and your toes a little massage while you're here. Great, and then slowly roll up. Start to roll down onto your back. And bring your knees into your chest. Now we're just going to do some circles, so we'll take the knees apart and then back together and back into the chest. So just notice which way your circles are going. You bring your knees together, you bring them into the chest as you breathe out, and as you breathe in, when you've got more space around the belly, take the circles out and around. So just doing a couple more. And then change direction. So now take your knees out as you bring them in. And then knees are together as you float them away. So again, we'll breathe out as we bring the knees into the chest, and we'll breathe in as we let them float away. Great. And for your last pose this morning, we're going to take reclined pigeon or figure 4 pose. So you're going to take your right foot and take it across your left thigh. Try and keep your foot on the thigh rather than letting it slip off. And then from here, we've got a few options. For a lot of people, taking a block or a folded pillow or a couple of pillows under your head is going to be super beneficial here. So you can always do that. So you're raising your head up. And then you want this right knee to be moving away, so not into your chest like this. You want to push it away. And then we lift off with the left foot. So we can already probably feel a stretch around the hip and the glute of this right hip. You can take one hand on each of the knees and just help to draw the legs in slightly. And that might be enough for you here. I can feel a stretch here. If you want to, you can take the right hand and thread it through this little gap and around the back of that left thigh. Interlace your hands. Keep the right foot flexed so the toes are pointing towards the right shin. If you're very open in the hips and you're not feeling enough of a stretch here, you can interlace the hands on top of that left shin. But there's no need to do that if it's going to feel uncomfortable or like you're forcing. It's fine to take them here. And another option would be to get a yoga belt or a scarf or something like that. Take it around the left thigh and use that to draw the leg in. If it's not accessible for you to interlace behind the leg, use a belt or a scarf. So choose your option. Plenty of options for everybody. And just breathe into that stretch. And then slowly unravel. So take your time, try not to ping out of it. Release, release. Take a moment. Just notice the two sides of your hips. Notice how they feel. And then we'll move to the left side. So take the feet, bend them up again, left foot across the right thigh. Now this side might be different, so do explore all the different options before you jump in. So I always like to see, how does it feel if I'm holding the knees? Is that a good stretch for me today? Do I need more? Take the left hand, interlace the hands behind the right thigh. And then breathe into this place for a few breaths before moving to the interlace on top. This is enough for me today behind the thigh here. Close your eyes and just breathe into the stretch. So my left side is always tighter than my right. Sometimes it's nice to imagine, you know, this intense sensation as a kind of a lump of frozen water or liquid, and as you breathe, your breath is just melting that tension, and you can feel it releasing, softening, beginning to let go. So we're going to come out. If you've got more time and you want to stay in these poses for longer, just pause the video. If you're practicing this a few times this week, just pause the video at each stage and take a few extra breaths, and you can easily turn this into, you know, a 40-45 minute practice by doing that. So when you're ready, you can come to lie down on your back. So just lie down on your back. You can keep your pillow, I'm just going to sit up so you can hear me properly, but you can keep your pillow for under your head, and you can take your legs, stretch them out, stretch your arms out, take your palms to face the ceiling, relax your shoulders and your chest muscles. Close your eyes, take a breath. Let it go. And as your feet just flop to the side, notice how your hips feel. The area around the pelvis, the buttocks, the back of the legs, the hamstrings, the low back, all the area that we've just worked this morning. Just notice how that feels. You can use that analogy here as well of the frozen water. If you're feeling like you have got discomfort and pain and tightness, just breathe into the places that you feel it the most. Invite the muscles to let go and relax on your out breath. Feel what you feel. Be with what you notice. And when we work with the hips, there is the tendency for emotions to come up. So we store emotions around the hips and around this chakra. So this sacral area is all to do with the feminine energy, the water, the emotions. So if you have got strong emotions that come up after practicing around the hips, then please don't worry. Some people even start to just cry, you know, spontaneously, and that's completely normal. So feel what you feel, honor it, be with it, allow it to be present. Deep breath in and let it go, and just begin to wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, take a stretch, and bring your knees back into your chest, rock side to side, and roll to your right side and just rest there. You can take your right ear onto your right bicep. Slowly stretch the left leg back. Press with your left hand onto the ground. Let your head be heavy. And slowly and carefully bring yourself back to a comfortable seat. Your hands together in front of your heart center. And lift up your head and blink your eyes open. Thank you so much for practicing with me this morning. Namaste. I hope your Monday goes well, or whenever you're watching this video, if you're practicing it on another day, do drop a comment into the comment below. So let me know how you found this practice, any thoughts, any feedback about any sensations in the body or emotions that came up. I would love to hear from you, so drop me a comment and I will reply back. Thank you so much.